In the annals of crime, few tales are as chilling as that of Tiffany Hall, a woman whose actions defy comprehension and whose betrayal shattered lives irreparably. Set against the backdrop of East St. Louis, Illinois, on a fateful day in September of the year 2006, the story unfolds with a haunting clarity that continues to echo through the corridors of time. It is a narrative not merely of crime, but of profound treachery, where trust was weaponized in the most unimaginable way. The scene is set in a seemingly innocuous apartment where officers with heavy hearts and grim determination embarked on a search for 3 missing children. The dread in the air was palpable as they scoured the premises, their eyes scanning every nook and cranny. Yet, nothing could have prepared them for the gut-wrenching discovery that awaited. As they opened the washer, the sight that met them was a parent's worst nightmare, a pair of lifeless children, their innocence cruelly extinguished. The horror compounded as they turned to the dryer, uncovering the body of a 3rd child, completing a tableau of unimaginable loss. This was no random act of brutality, nor the handiwork of a stranger lurking in the shadows. The perpetrator was someone woven into the fabric of the victims' lives, a person who sat at their table, shared in their joys, and was trusted implicitly. The heart of this tragedy was not just the loss of life, but the profound betrayal of that trust. Tiffany Hall, a woman once seen as a friend, had turned into a specter of death. Just days prior, the community was rocked by another atrocity, the murder of Jamela Tunstall, a young mother of 23. Her life and that of her unborn child were violently cut short by the very person she considered a confidant. Hall's actions were as calculated as they were cruel, attacking Jamela in a moment of vulnerability and leaving her to a fate too harrowing to fathom. In an act of unfathomable malice, she returned to the scene, where innocence had once thrived, to extinguish the lives of Jamela's 3 children in the very place that had been their sanctuary. The horror of these acts reverberated through the community, leaving scars that would never heal. The question that lingered was why? What could drive a person to commit such heinous acts against those who had only shown them love and trust? As investigators pieced together the fragments of this dark narrative, a picture emerged of a woman who had allowed jealousy and desperation to warp her humanity. The story of Tiffany Hall is one that forces us to confront the darkest recesses of the human psyche, to grapple with the understanding that evil can reside in the most familiar of faces. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of trust and the devastating consequences when it is shattered. In the end, it compels us to ponder the nature of betrayal, the depths of human cruelty, and the resilience of those left to pick up the pieces. In the quiet corners of East St. Louis, Illinois, where the Mississippi River winds its way through a landscape marked by struggle and resilience, 2 women forged an unbreakable bond. Tiffany Hall and Jamela Tunstall were more than friends. They were sisters in spirit, bound by shared history and mutual trust. But beneath the surface of this seemingly unshakable friendship lay the seeds of a tragedy that would unravel the fabric of their lives and reverberate through their community. Tiffany Hall, a name now synonymous with one of the most chilling crimes in recent memory, was once just a familiar face in East St. Louis. To her friends, she was a confidant, a reliable presence, someone who could be entrusted with the most precious of responsibilities: caring for their children. Among those who placed their trust in her was Jamela Tunstall, a young mother of 3, striving against the odds to forge a better future for her family. Jamela's life was a tapestry of determination and hope. At 23, she was a single mother to 3 children, Demond, Ivan, and baby Jamela. Her days were filled with the challenges of parenthood, but she harbored dreams of becoming a photographer, a vision she pursued through her studies at a local community college. Though her journey was fraught with financial hardship, Jamella's spirit was unyielding, her resolve to provide a brighter future for her children unwavering. In the eyes of the world, Tiffany and Jamella's relationship was a testament to the power of friendship. They shared not only laughter and dreams, but also the burdens of daily life. They were family in all but blood, and Jamella trusted Tiffany implicitly. When Jamella needed respite from the demands of motherhood, it was Tiffany who stepped in, offering her time and care to Jamella's children. Yet, beneath the veneer of normalcy, Tiffany Hall was fighting her own demons. Her past was a tapestry of instability and rebellion. Raised in a strict and tumultuous household, Tiffany's adolescent years were marked by defiance and turmoil. At the tender age of 14, she committed an act that should have served as a harbinger of future horrors, setting her family's kitchen ablaze. Her mother would later recount Tiffany's tendency toward mischief, but these words barely scratched the surface of a much darker reality. As Tiffany navigated the complexities of adulthood, her life became a web of deception. She spun tales of pregnancy to her boyfriend, Keith Horn, a Navy officer, and faced the heart-wrenching loss of her own children due to neglect and abuse. Yet these shadows remained hidden from those who thought they knew her best. Not even Jamella, her closest friend, could fathom the depths of Tiffany's duplicity. Both women grew up in East St. Louis, a city where the specter of poverty loomed large, casting long shadows over the aspirations of its residents. Here, over 31% of the population lived below the poverty line, grappling with the harsh realities of economic disparity. Despite these challenges, Jamella was a beacon of hope, her resolve shining brightly against the backdrop of adversity. She believed in Tiffany Hall, believed in the friendship they had nurtured over the years. But trust, once broken, can unleash a cascade of devastation. As the layers of Tiffany's facade began to peel away, the true horror of her actions emerged, shattering the lives of those who had once called her family. The betrayal that ensued was not just a personal tragedy, destructive power it holds when wielded by those with dark intentions. In the end, the story of Tiffany Hall and Jamella Tunstall is a somber reminder of the dual nature of human relationships. It speaks to the capacity for connection and the potential for destruction that lies within each of us. As we reflect on their tale, we are left to ponder the delicate balance between trust and betrayal, and the enduring quest for redemption in a world that can so easily be torn asunder by the very bonds that hold us together. In the quiet, unassuming corridors of East St. Louis, a tale of unimaginable betrayal and tragedy unfolded, shattering the peace of a community that had once been a tapestry of trust and kinship. The story of Jamella Tunstall and Tiffany Hall is a dark chapter in the annals of crime, where the bonds of friendship were not just tested but annihilated in a series of acts that defied comprehension. Jamella, a woman whose life was a testament to resilience and love, placed her unwavering trust in Tiffany, a friend she believed to be loyal. Yet this trust was not merely misplaced. It became the fulcrum of a nightmare that would leave a lasting scar on the hearts of many. The events of September 2006 would reveal a chilling narrative of deception and violence that few could have anticipated. Tiffany Hall, a woman who once shared in the joys and sorrows of Jamella's life, orchestrated a crime so heinous it shook the very foundations of the community. Her actions were premeditated, her facade meticulously crafted. She took the life of her best friend, Jamella, in an act of unimaginable brutality, severing the unborn child from her womb in a grotesque bid to claim motherhood for herself. But the horror did not end there. In a further descent into barbarity, Tiffany extinguished the lives of Jamella's 3 innocent children. One by one, she drowned them in the same bathtub where their mother had perished. Each act a calculated step in a macabre sequence that left the community reeling. The aftermath of these crimes was a tapestry of disbelief and mourning. The people of East St. Louis, who had once embraced Tiffany as one of their own, were left grappling with the incomprehensible reality of her actions. How could someone so familiar, so seemingly benign, harbor such darkness within? As the truth came to light, the legal machinery ground into action. The evidence against Tiffany was not simply compelling, it was a damning testament to her culpability. She had not only committed murder, but had woven a web of lies to shield her from the consequences. She misled medical professionals, concocted elaborate falsehoods about her pregnancy, and even confided in her boyfriend about the atrocities she had committed, as if her conscience sought a semblance of release through confession. Charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of intentional homicide of an unborn child, Tiffany faced the grim specter of the death penalty. The state of Illinois was prepared to pursue the harshest punishment, driven by a desire for justice that echoed the cries of a community in mourning. The prosecutors painted a picture of a woman whose actions were devoid of empathy, calculated, and utterly inexcusable. Yet, in a twist that left many stunned, Tiffany Hall chose not to contest the charges. On June 9, 2008, she accepted a plea deal, admitting to all 5 charges in exchange for her life. Instead of facing execution, she was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a decision that sparked a complex tapestry of emotions among those affected. To some, the sentence represented justice, a life behind bars for a life taken. But for others, particularly Jamella's grieving family, it was a pale shadow of retribution. They had lost everything: a daughter, grandchildren, a future filled with the laughter and warmth of family. The courtroom, a place where they sought closure, instead became a stage for Tiffany's admission of guilt, a moment that reopened wounds still raw and bleeding. As the gavel fell and the courtroom emptied, the echoes of this tragedy lingered, a somber reminder of the fragility of trust and the depths of human depravity. The story of Jamella and her children is not merely a tale of loss, but a stark reflection on the nature of evil and the resilience of those left behind. In the end, it compels us to ponder the delicate balance between trust and betrayal, and the enduring quest for justice in a world where shadows often obscure the light. In the cold echoes of a courtroom, Sandra Myers, the mother of the late Jamella Tonstal, stood before the world with words that resonated beyond the confines of justice. Her daughter's life, along with those of her grandchildren, had been violently taken by someone they once called a friend. Yet in a moment that defied expectation, Sandra spoke of forgiveness, an act not of denial but of profound understanding that vengeance would not resurrect her beloved family nor erase the scars of her loss. The perpetrator, Tiffany Hall, faced the grim consequence of her actions, her life now confined to the shadows of a prison cell. Her defense unraveled a troubling narrative of mental health struggles, revealing an IQ in the mid-70s, teetering on the edge of intellectual disability. Her life was marred by untreated mental health issues and allegations of abuse, painting a portrait of a woman trapped within her own turbulent psyche. But could mental illness justify the horror she inflicted? Errors viewed her as a master of deceit. The meticulous planning of Jamella's murder and the subsequent lies to medical professionals, law enforcement, and her partner suggested a chilling premeditation. This was not a crime born of sudden impulse. It was a sinister orchestration of malevolence, executed with cold precision. As the trial concluded and the gavel fell, the weight of justice hung heavy in the air. Tiffany Hall was sentenced to spend the remainder of her days in incarceration, a life for the lives she had taken. Yet the community of East St. Louis, grappling with the aftermath, faced an enduring struggle to comprehend the magnitude of her betrayal. This was not merely a tale of murder, it was a catastrophic breach of trust. Jamella Tunstall had considered Tiffany her confidant, a sister in all but blood. She entrusted her with her children, with her life, a trust that, in a cruel twist of fate, led to her demise. The community, once vibrant, now bore the weight of disbelief. How could someone feign grief over a stolen child while having extinguished the light of its mother? How could one extinguish the innocence of 3 young lives with such heartless resolve? These questions lingered, unanswered and haunting. For Jamella's family, true justice seemed an elusive ideal, as no sentence could restore the lives that had been so callously stolen. The haunting memory of Jamella, remembered by friends and neighbors as a devoted mother striving for a brighter future for her children, lingered in the hearts of those she left behind. Her children, 7-year-old Demon, 2-year-old Ivan, and 1-year-old Janella, were robbed of futures filled with potential and promise. They would never experience the joys of growing up, never attend school, never forge their paths in life. As the years unfurled, the community continued to grapple with the profound impact of these events. The case of Tiffany Hall remains a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside within the human heart. It challenges us to reflect on the nature of trust, the potential for deception, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. In the end, we are left to ponder the complexities of forgiveness and the enduring quest for peace amidst the shadows of loss. Their final moments were enveloped in terror, confusion, and unspeakable pain. The orchestrator of this horror was none other than someone who had once worn the guise of a friend. The case of Tiffany Hall stands as a chilling symbol of ultimate betrayal. Some have posited that Tiffany Hall's actions were driven by mental illness, a consequence of untreated psychological afflictions. Indeed, her past was marred by turmoil, she possessed a low IQ, and exhibited a history of behavioral problems. Yet, can these factors truly account for the calculated nature of her crimes? It is vital to remember that Tiffany Hall's actions were premeditated. She wove a web of deceit, ultimately confessing to her heinous acts. She manipulated medical professionals with lies, attended the funeral of a child she had stolen without shedding a tear, and roamed freely for days, while Jamella Tunstall's lifeless body lay abandoned in an empty lot. This was no crime of passion. It was the manifestation of something far more sinister. Jamella Tunstall, unsuspecting and trusting, never imagined that the very person she confided in would be the architect of her demise. This case is terrifying because it underscores a harsh reality. Monsters often wear the masks of friends. It serves as a heartbreaking reminder that not everyone who professes love harbors benevolent intentions. Tragically for Jamella, this revelation came too late. Now, Tiffany Hall resides within the confines of Logan Correctional Center, condemned to a life without the possibility of parole. She will never again walk free nor inflict harm upon another. Yet, for Jamella's grieving family, this sentence offers little solace. Each day begins with the knowledge that their beloved daughter and grandchildren are irretrievably lost, a void that no measure of justice can fill. While some cases fade from public memory, this one remains indelibly etched in the minds of those who recall it. Tiffany Hall's actions defy comprehension. What transpired should never have been possible, and the crime itself is one that eludes complete understanding. It transcended murder. It was betrayal in its most harrowing form. Thus concludes the tragic narrative of Tiffany Hall, the caretaker who slaughtered her best friend, absconded with her unborn child, and drowned 3 innocent souls. A case so haunting, so profoundly disturbing, that even as the years pass, it lingers in the collective consciousness of those who remember. In the end, we are left to ponder the darker aspects of human nature, to question the true visage of those we trust, and to accept that sometimes the greatest perils arise from within our closest circles.